This is KVUE News Daybreak.
A battle is brewing at the Capitol as lawmakers are set to take up Senate Bill 4, the so-called Sanctuary Cities bill. I'll have details on what's ahead today.
Plus, President Trump unveiling a new tax plan, what kind of breaks it'll give to corporations and what it means for the middle class.
And another high-rise planned for Austin, but this one has some concern, the location that might come as a surprise. Good Wednesday morning to you, and thank you for joining us for Daybreak at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Before we check in with Anavid Reyes for a look at the roads, let's hope they're good today. And let's check in on our weather with Erica Lopez. Hi there.
Hey there, guys. Good morning. Warm, muggy start for our entire viewing area. Dew points remain in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. We're already in the mid 70s. A south wind keeps us muggy. That south wind is going to change this afternoon to a north wind. We're talking a drier air mass in our forecast, but still some strong winds. We are seeing gusts of up to almost 30 miles an hour this morning. That could be the case this afternoon. So here's the cold front. Strong storms north. Not going to see much in the form of rain for us here in the Austin metro area. What we are going to see is a decrease in humidity, but still a warm afternoon. I'll have the full forecast coming up later this morning. First, let's take a look at traffic. Anavid, what's the latest? Any accidents out there?
Actually, yes, Erica. But first, this is a live look at Mopac northbound at Gaines Ranch Loop. This is provided by TxDOT, and you can see traffic is moving quite nicely in this area. But if we go ahead and zoom in south, this is if you're coming in from the Buda area. There is an accident. We are watching this crash on the frontage road traveling I-35 northbound at William Cannon Drive. So if you are heading towards downtown, this might be an area that you want to look out for as you head out the door. Guys, back to you.
Anavid, thank you. Today, members of the Texas House of Representatives in for a lengthy and heated debate. They're taking up Senate Bill 4, a ban on so-called sanctuary cities. We go live now to Corey Coffin at the state capitol. Corey, this should be an entertaining day.
Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a long day as well for lawmakers. Good morning to you, Brian. Senate Bill 4 will require all law enforcement to honor ICE detainers, which are voluntary requests to hold someone while their immigration status is being investigated. Under the House version of the bill, only people who are arrested can be asked their status. Supporters say the bill is about enforcing the rule of law and ensuring jails across the state all follow the same rules. But people across the state have also protested SB 4, saying it will cause even more distrust between the police and the immigrant community. Many believe this could lead to a decrease in reports of violent crime, even a drop in economic activity.
I've been told by several representatives, don't worry about this. This is only going to affect arrested people. And I feel like that really, to me, sounds similar to what we're hearing at the national level, where we're being told that undocumented students like myself don't have anything to worry about. But we know that's far from the truth.
Now, the bill does allow law enforcement on college campuses to ask about a student's immigration status if that student is arrested. There will likely be, though, an amendment filed aimed at changing that particular point. In fact, insiders say House Democrats have more than 100 amendments ready to file during the debate, and all of that begins right here at 9 a.m. Sure to be a long day. We'll be covering it all and have updates for you throughout the day. I'm Corey Coffin reporting live at the Capitol. Guys, back to you.
Corey, thanks. Travis County's sanctuary city policy was also a big topic for Mayor Steve Adler and U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The two met yesterday in Washington, D.C. Adler part of a delegation of mayors there to discuss the federal policy. This comes after Sessions announced last month that local governments would lose federal dollars if they continue with the sanctuary city status. Adler says Sessions told him sanctuary cities are based on a federal statute that says a government entity may not prohibit communication between immigration officials.
The question that I asked the Attorney General was, would a county that was not honoring voluntary detainers be a county that would be sanctioned on that regard? And he told me no.
Now, in a statement released following the mayor's comments, the Department of Justice wrote, quote, the Attorney General did not comment or provide a legal opinion as to whether Austin or any other jurisdiction is or is not in compliance. Now, officials at the mayor's office tell KVUE the mayor, Mayor Adler, stands by his previous comments.
Well, just a few days left until President Donald Trump marks his first 100 days in office. And the pressure is on to deliver. President Trump set to unveil the blueprint for his tax reform plan today. Also on the agenda, briefing at the White House on issues rising in North Korea. But the list doesn't end there. Stephanie Ramos explains how our country's leader is tackling these topics along with the fallout over his former national security advisor.
Today's the day President Trump releases his hyped-up tax reform plan. His team calling it a first draft with some key parts still in the works as they barrel through to Trump's 100th day in office. The proposal is expected to call for cutting taxes for corporations and companies like his and small businesses from 35 to 15%, a tax break for child care expenses, and cutting individual tax rates. Also happening today, all 100 U.S. senators will be briefed on the situation in North Korea on White House grounds.
The Secretary of State and others are going to talk about our posture and the activities that we're undergoing, and Chairman Dunford will lay out some of the military actions.
This comes just a day after North Korea fires off its largest artillery drill, just as a U.S. guided missile submarine arrived in South Korea, intensifying the standoff over the North's nuclear weapons program.
A North Korean missile with a nuclear payload capable of striking an American city is no longer a distant hypothetical, but an imminent danger.
The Trump administration also dealing with the fallout over former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn's business dealings with Russia. The top Republican and Democrat on the House Oversight Committee saying Flynn did not make it known he received money from Russia and likely broke the law.
As a former military officer, you simply cannot take money from Russia, Turkey, or anybody else. And it appears as if he did take that money.
We heard from General Flynn during the presidential campaign last year where he talked about breaking the law when it came to Hillary Clinton. But now, if he did indeed break the law, he could face up to 5 years in prison. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
Back here at home, Austin school officials holding a meeting to discuss the alleged assault on a 4-year-old girl that apparently happened at a South Austin elementary school. The parents of the girl say she was sexually assaulted on February the 7th at Boone Elementary. Tomorrow, Austin school district officials will meet with any parent who has questions about this incident. This is happening, the meeting is, at the school's cafeteria from 6 to 7 p.m. The 4-year-old's medical records show there was trauma and the child suffered injuries related to sexual assault, but school police closed the investigation without pulling the medical records. The case has been reopened, and Travis County prosecutors are investigating.
The man behind Monday's SWAT standoff in East Austin facing charges this Daybreak. Authorities say this man, 27-year-old Arturo Sada, started a fire at a home on Willow Street near Cesar Chavez. This was Monday night. Police say Sada pointed a gun at a firefighter when they asked him to leave the home, then barricaded himself in a room. He surrendered after almost 3 hours in a 3-hour-long standoff. 2 other people were inside the house but were not hurt. Sada could spend up to 99 years in prison if he's found guilty of arson.
Austin showing no signs of slowing down. More people move here every day. That means more buildings are on the way, and another high-rise could be coming to the city, but its location, the location of the building, it's raising some eyebrows. A 30-story high-rise full of residential, office, and retail space could be added to Austin's skyline, but it'll be just steps away from the Austin Resource Center for the Homeless, or ARCH. The National Episcopal Church bought the property that sits between 7th and 8th Streets there a few years ago with plans to build a National Archive facility. The nearly 70,000 square foot facility would be part of the high-rise. Reverend Canon Lang Lowry, who spoke to us by phone, he says he's hoping the project will be a destination spot. He also says Mayor Steve Adler has come up with a good plan to address homelessness in the area.
Really wanted a concept to go around with our archives that would not only make a living archives for us, but make a spot where people would want to come to.
Now, the idea of a hotel could be in the works as well. However, financial details, according to Lowry, should be released in about 3 months. The project will require approval from city leaders. If approved, construction could begin next year.
It looks like former President George H.W. Bush will be in the hospital longer than expected. Doctors now saying the 92-year-old beat pneumonia, but he's still battling chronic bronchitis this morning. The former president has been at Houston Methodist Hospital since April 14th. Officials working with him say they're hoping he'll be released by the end of this week. And there's a growing concern across the country with drug with drugged driving. New statistics show that more drivers killed in crashes are testing positive for drugs rather than alcohol. The Governor's Highway Safety Association points out the increase has happened as more states have legalized marijuana. Now 6:10 is your time. Let's take a look at our forecast. Yeah, got up into the 90s. It was quite warm yesterday. Will today be a carbon copy?
Yeah, well, in terms of temperatures, yes, but in terms of humidity, we're going to have a change in that. And that's because the cold front is just to the north of us. Here's what we're seeing with this cold front. It's severe north of us. So notice a severe thunderstorm warning for the Dallas metro area. Also some severe thunderstorm watches. It's been busy overnight, eastern Oklahoma into Little Rock. For us here in Austin, it's quiet. And in terms of rain shower activity, it's going to remain quiet. We do have a 10 to 20% chance of a spotty shower. It's the warm temperatures and some rather strong winds that we're seeing this morning coming in from the south before the cold front pushes in. But after the cold front pushes in, notice by noon we'll have decreased cloud coverage and winds coming in from the north. A drier air mass is right behind that, and that's also going to allow still our temperatures to remain in the upper 80s and 90s. So I'm going to break down hour by hour exactly what we can expect and also break down who's under a fire danger threat this afternoon. Back to you.
Erica, thanks. A heads up as you track your credit score, major changes are coming to how it's calculated. The biggest trended data is changing. That means a person who's paying down debt is now likely to score better than someone making minimum monthly payments but still slowly accumulating credit card debt. We have much more detail on what's changing in the web version of this story. You can find that on our website. Just search for credit score at KVUE.com. Trying to keep feral hogs off your land? Well, you'll have to hold off on poisoning them. Why one chemical company is pulling back on selling bait to Texans.
And a popular Mexican restaurant chain sending out a warning this morning why Chipotle is urging you to check your credit card statements.
Welcome back. 6:14. Authorities in Los Angeles, California, investigating this fiery collision. It left one person dead and 10 others hurt. Happened Tuesday. One of the busiest freeways in L.A. 6 cars and 3 semi-trucks were involved in the crash. Took about 7 hours to clear the scene there and open their freeway back up. One of the injured in critical condition. The other 9 had minor injuries. One dog was also killed in this fiery crash.
Well, the investigation continues this morning into a crash in North Austin that left one person dead. It happened just before 4:30 yesterday. Parts of the Mopac and 183 interchange in North Austin were shut down for hours after a motorcyclist went off the flyover, falling 100 feet. Investigators don't believe alcohol or speed were factors. Paramedics say the motorcyclist was a female in her 20s. Her name has not been released.
The state's plan to poison thousands of feral hogs is on hold this morning. That's because the only company that makes the chemical is refusing to sell it. The company says it doesn't want to be sued by environmentalists and hunters who fear introducing poison could cause problems for other animals. Governor Greg Abbott says the state government hiring freeze he announced back in January has already saved the state about $145 million. According to the Austin American-Statesman, about $99 million was saved with agencies who agreed to spend less in exchange for hiring freeze waivers. One representative says the savings is a drop in the bucket for the state government, which is currently operating on a $216 billion budget. The hiring freeze expires at the end of August.
A video of a soccer ref is going viral after he breaks it down. Whoa, at a game. Check it out. The ball comes flying towards him. So down he goes. He's a guy right there in the yellow shirt. He does a perfect split to avoid the ball, doesn't interfere with the game, and then he jumps right back up and keeps on going.
That's pretty impressive right there.
That is impressive.
My goodness. I would rip my groin and my pants if I tried to do that.
You'd rip both. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Not too fun. Hey, something that's pretty active this morning is our weather. As a matter of fact, there's a cold front pushing through Texas, bringing in some severe weather just to the north of us. For here in central Texas, we have some spotty drizzle, possibly some spotty sprinkles because it's so humid. And it's warm out there. As you're heading out the door, it's going to be muggy, it's going to be sticky. That's going to change this afternoon as this cold front will affect us this morning. Also, keep in mind, pretty strong winds out there this morning. Gusts of close to 30-mile-an-hour for some folks. The hill country has seen some strong winds. This is the cold front pushing through Texas right now. Notice some severe storms just north of that. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning still in place for the Dallas metro area. Also, severe thunderstorm watches for eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. It's been busy for them. For us, I think we'll stay in the clear of the majority of the rain. You can't rule out a spotty shower or sprinkle. We've already seen some overnight, but the severe stuff is going to remain just to the north of us as that cold front pushes through our viewing area. The main change with this cold front is going to be the air mass. Take a look at just how humid it is this morning. Relative humidity percentages in the 90s across the entire viewing area. This morning, as that cold front pushes through, notice our relative humidity percentages dropping into the teens this afternoon, and it's still going to be windy. So when conditions are dry and when conditions are windy, we have fire danger threats, red flag warnings already in place from noon until 7 p.m. Once that cold front passes, mainly for the hill country. I wouldn't be surprised if that is extended into the rest of the viewing area. It's still going to be warm today, 90-degree forecasted high temperatures, warm the rest of the work week. Another cold front passes this weekend that has a better chance of some rain and possibly some strong storms this weekend. And Avid, how do the roads look like this morning?
Good morning, Erica. Well, for the most part, everything is looking pretty good this morning. This is a live look at 183 in the northern part of this branch at Breaker Lane. Now, if we travel just a little bit south on 183, there is a stalled vehicle. Now, if you're traveling northbound, this is near 183 at Loyola Lane. So this might cause some slowdowns for you if you're traveling northbound. As you can see, traffic is starting to slow down just after this stalled vehicle. So make sure you take a look at that before hitting the roads. Guys, back to you.
Anavi, thank you. Well, the future of ride sharing could be headed to the skies. A new program Uber might just try out in Dallas.
And Chipotle is warning its customers of a data breach. ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have the details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a data breach at Chipotle.
Executives say someone hacked into the payment processing network for its restaurants.
Chipotle officials believe they've blocked the unauthorized activity, but they're still cautioning customers to check their credit statements.
And they remind you guacamole's extra.
Oh, yes, remember that one. Uber says in just a few years, you're going to be looking up for your ride.
It's promising a network of flying cars starting in Dallas in 3 years. Uber says it has the enthusiastic support of the mayor there, the aircraft industry, and real estate developers. And the world's last male northern white rhino is on Tinder.
His name is Sudan, and he's being called the most eligible bachelor in the world. The Tinder profile is aimed at raising millions for fertility treatments, and those donations are needed in hopes of saving the rhino species.
It's going to be troubling if that does better than I do on Tinder.
Would you swipe right?
Oh, of course. Those are Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Time to take a look at your school bell forecast. A warm and muggy start this afternoon. It's going to be dry and sunny, but still warm. Temperatures in the upper 80s, today. Close to 90 degrees, though. Expect less cloud coverage by about lunchtime, but patchy drizzle as you head out the door this morning could be something you run into. We have a lot of low-level moisture out there. So UV index will be in the high category this afternoon because clouds will decrease, and that's going to give us lots of sunshine, but also a warm afternoon. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Erica. And new this morning, the federal government is cracking down on 14 companies that make false promises about curing cancer. The FDA calls the more than 65 products a cruel deception. Some of the products are dangerous because they may keep patients from seeking real treatment, and others may be harmful themselves. They include pills, ointment, and teas. Spirit Airlines will eliminate passenger service to Cuba at the end of May. They're just the latest U.S. carrier to stop flights to Cuba this year, following Frontier and Silver Airways. American and JetBlue have also reduced capacity to Cuba, thinning down on flights and switching to smaller aircraft. Disney has released some big dates for some new sequels and remakes. The company is making several live-action movies, including Mulan in November of 2018, plus Mary Poppins, a Lion King live-action movie as well, and another Indiana Jones movie is also in the works. When it comes to sequels, Incredibles 2 is coming out June 2018. That's awesome. Disney fans can also expect Wreck-It Ralph 2, Star Wars Episode 9, Toy Story 4, and Frozen 2. Uh-oh, more songs. Let it go. But Frozen 2, I have a feeling it's going to do so well. While President Trump's border wall still has a lot of people asking who's going to pay for it. This morning, why the bill could be sent to drug lord El Chapo.
And a second-grade girl with a unique but environmentally friendly passion is making a difference one battery at a time. Hear her full story coming up after the break.
This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Welcome back and good morning. 6:29 is your time. A beautiful view from the Long Center. This is gorgeous.
That's right. JP's out getting all the artistic shots for us today with the overcast sky and those beautiful buildings.
I'm not overclass. I'm just the right class.
I'm way underclass, to be quite honest. 6:29 is your time. The gang is again all here. Anna Veach keeping her eyes on those roads for us. And Erica keeping her eyes on the skies where, Erica, look out, there's a big blue line headed your way.
There is, and that's keeping folks just to the north of us quite busy this morning. Some severe thunderstorm warnings are currently in place for the Dallas metro area. Another 45 minutes or so heavy rain along this frontal boundary, or as Brian says, this big blue line now pushing to eastern Oklahoma. It is going to push through us. The good news, the majority of the heavy rain and severe weather not going to be in our region. That'll stay north of us. What we are going to see are decreased moisture levels. It's humid out there this morning. This afternoon, that's not going to be the case. Not going to cool down our temperatures, though. Afternoon highs still expected to be in the 90s. Here's a look at your temperatures as you're heading out the door this morning. Also, as you're heading out the door, Anna Reyes has the latest on what you can expect for traffic.
Thank you, Erica. Well, it's now 6:30, and most of y'all are heading out the door at this time. This is a live look at 183 Breaker Lane if you're traveling southbound. There is a stalled vehicle we are watching right now. This is on near 183 at Loyola Lane. So this might cause some traffic delays as you head out the door. Let's talk about your drive times. 183 southbound 45 to Mopac, 7-minute commute. 11 minutes if you're traveling from 45 to I-35. Now, Loop 360 Mopac to Pennybacker Bridge, a 9-minute commute, and the green light 290 to Cesar Chavez on Mopac northbound. Guys, back to you.
Anna, thank you. Today, leaders of the House Oversight Committee saying President Donald Trump's former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn may have broken the law. They say he didn't tell anyone about his acceptance of payments from a Russian media organization back in 2015. Flynn also received more than $500,000 lobbying on behalf of the embattled Turkish government. If it's true that he broke the law, he could face up to 5 years in prison.
Well, President Trump insists he's not backing down from his #1 campaign promise to build the wall, but it's not going to get built right away.
Who's going to pay for the wall?
Mexico says no way, and now the president is backing down on his demand that Congress start paying for the wall now as part of his effort to cut a deal with Democrats to avert a government shutdown.
Really good news that the president seems to be taking the wall off the table in the negotiations we're having.
So the president is not insisting that he has money for actual construction of the wall.
Look, I'm not going to get there. We're still in discussions with the House and Senate leadership, but I think the president's been very clear that he wants a wall. He wants it done as soon as we can do it.
White House negotiators say they are now willing to accept they won't get any money to pay for the wall until October at the earliest. And money for President Trump's border wall could come from the Mexican drug lord known as El Chapo. Texas Senator Ted Cruz introduced a bill called the Ensuring Lawful Collection of Hidden Assets to Provide Order Act, or El Chapo Act for short. It would be used to recover more than $14 billion in drug money from El Chapo as he faces prosecution in the U.S. Cruz also says the money will go a long way toward building a wall, which is estimated at $21 billion.
Starting today, the Austin Independent School District officials will hold public meetings on the 2017-2018 district budget. Families welcome to attend the meeting at the district's Performing Arts Center from 1 to 2 p.m. this afternoon. If you can't make it, there are 2 more meetings tomorrow at the Baker Center Cafeteria and the Caruth Administration Center. The first one is from 1 to 2, the second from 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow evening.
Well, mixed results this year from elementary and middle school students on the first round of Texas's standardized tests. According to the Statesman, STAR math scores for 5th and 8th grade students showed improvement, but reading scores for both grades dropped. Compared to last year, reading scores dropped 2 percentage points among 5th graders to 71% and 3 percentage points for 8th graders to 76%. Students in the 2 grade levels must pass the exams to move on to the next grade.
Controversy this morning after a video was released showing officers holding a group of unarmed black teens at gunpoint on the ground in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Hey, come over here. Keep your hands where I can see them and get on the ground.
The incident happened back on March 24th. It came after a report of a group of teenagers carrying a gun was called into police. However, police later learned the youths were not armed. On the body cam video, you can hear the boys ages 12 to 14 appear to be confused and frightened.
We're giving you directions, okay?
Police then moved in but found no weapon. The young boys were released to their parents. The police chief has apologized for the incident but says he stands by his officers on how they handled it.
Well, this morning, a former ABC reality star is in serious trouble and facing prison time. Former star of The Bachelor Chris Soules was arrested yesterday, charged with causing a deadly accident and leaving the scene. Authorities say the Iowa farmer rear-ended a tractor, sending both vehicles into a ditch. The tractor driver was killed. Soules could face up to 5 years in prison. And now to a family who says they are fed up with their neighbor. They say their neighbor has called 911 on them more than 20 times in the past 5 months. Police say they have all been false noise complaints. The family moved into a Houston subdivision in November, and they believe the neighbor is sending them a not-so-subtle message that they are not welcome.
I feel like I'm being harassed by the person that's making the calls. It's so bad the family's used to them coming. The family greet them. Hey, how you doing? Okay, back to playing cards. Needs to stop. Enough is enough, man. That's all I'm saying.
Police say they are looking into what's behind the neighbor's series of bogus calls against the family, and they say the family has never done anything wrong. The neighbor declined to comment about the 911 calls.
Time for a bit of sports this morning. The Houston Rockets are on to the next round of the NBA playoffs, winning their series with the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Close game last night. Russell Westbrook tried to do it all for the Thunder. Once again, he finished, though, with 47 points last night. Was not enough. Rockets win the game 105-99. James Harden had 34 for Houston in the ballgame. Rockets will now face off against the winner of the Memphis-San Antonio series. Spurs lead that series 3-2. They also won last night. Meantime, Rockets owner Les Alexander could be fined for yelling at an official. There he is in the red shirt. You see him get out of his seat, walk over to the referee during the game. After speaking his mind, you can see him return to his courtside seat. NBA spokesperson Mike Bass says an investigation is underway. All right, time to get a check of our forecast. I was just seeing on social media, they're getting some rain up to our north, Erica.
That's right. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings currently in place and severe thunderstorm watches. The good news, we're not going to battle with the severe weather here in central Texas. It will remain to the north of us. They're actually in for a very active day as that cold front pushes further to the east. Arkansas, Louisiana, under at moderate risk for severe weather this afternoon. But some decent storms north of us. Austin, light showers because of the fact that it's so humid out there. Take a look at our current humidity this morning, 90th percentile for the entire viewing area. This is why we do have some patchy drizzle that we'll expect for the first half of our day. Now, once this cold front pushes through us, take a look at the humidity levels this afternoon. In the teens, in the 20s, 30s, it's going to be so dry out there. We already have some red flag warnings in place from noon for the rest of the evening. Keep that in mind. Any outdoor burning, not advised today. And I am keeping an eye on the next chance of rain. We're going to need it after this dry air mass settles in. I'll chat about that in the full forecast.
All right, sounds like a plan. 6:37 is your time. Sometimes it can take a while for a kid to figure out what they are passionate about or what they want to be involved in.
That's right, but for one Round Rock girl, she already seems to have that answer while giving back at the same time. KVUE's Jay Wallace joins us now in studio to show us and tell us her story. Jay?
Yeah, I think we all know that kids love to collect things at an early age. I know I used to love collecting rocks as well as Hot Wheels. Oh yeah, most parents are used to this type of accumulation, but one second grader has started gathering a type of item that might catch you off guard. You can find this bucket inside the Round Rock Library, here for used batteries. And the mind behind this project?
I love to play and I like to do lots of fun stuff.
Second grader Asviti Tavakaran came across plenty of batteries this holiday season.
You know, from the toys, the remote controls and everything.
But once she tried to put them in the trash,
my parents say not to put in the trash.
This lesson suddenly sparked Asvini's interest. She started asking question after question, wanting to know more about the environment.
She said, oh, I should tell my friends to do the same.
She did a little more than that, coming up with a plan all on her own to place bins in certain Round Rock buildings, including this library, for used batteries.
If we put in the trash, it goes to landfill, and when it rains, the chemicals get out and go to the ground and get to the river.
And while the Round Rock Library was happy to help recycle, this was more about helping a passionate young girl.
It was a no-brainer. We were excited to partner with her. She has a goal, and we wanted to help support that goal.
A goal that has already surpassed her mom's expectations. 1,600 batteries in only 2 months.
We thought we will be getting a little bit like 500. No, it's 1,600. It's a triple, so we thought it's a good, it's a good outcome.
Now, this isn't Asvini's only passion, as she also told me she has started getting into tree planting. And she just recently went to Tree Folks in Austin and planted some small trees to help with the environment. So really just a cool balance of, collecting things, but also really knowledgeable. I kept asking her about recycling, really knows her stuff. So just a cool balance of collecting items and just having fun while still giving back to the environment.
She's a great little girl, but also kudos to the parents, because as parents, you should always try to push your kids in the direction they want to go. And if they are into one thing, then, just kind of guide them and say, okay, and kind of harness that, right? And I think that they are.
Supportive mom and dad.
Oh, they were so proud also the whole time. You could tell them smiling and just enjoying the whole time. So.
Asvini, right?
Yes,
Asvini. I love it. I love it.
Great story.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Yep.
A vote in the legislature could lead to changes for some community college students in the Lone Star State. What it would mean for those trying to get a bachelor's degree in nursing. That's coming up.
Good morning. Coming up on GMA, President Trump closing in on his first 100 days. He's going to come out today with some tax reform plans, the outlines of his tax reform plan, sweeping cuts in personal and corporate income taxes, including what appears to be a plan for the president to cut his own taxes in half. We're going to get into that this morning as the president works to avoid a government shutdown. That's all coming up on GMA.
6:43 is your time. Here are some of today's top stories.
Happening today, President Donald Trump hosting all 100 U.S. senators at the White House for a briefing on the situation in North Korea. This comes just a day after North Korea fired off its latest artillery drill. President Trump has sent more U.S. military assets to the region in a show of force. South Korea and the United States continue to hold joint military drills.
Austin school officials holding a meeting to discuss the alleged assault on a 4-year-old girl at Boone Elementary School. Tomorrow, officials will meet with any parent who has questions about the incident in the school's cafeteria from 6 to 7 p.m. The 4-year-old's medical records show she suffered injuries related to sexual assault. School police closed the investigation, but Travis County prosecutors have reopened the case and are investigating.
A 30-story high-rise building could be coming to Austin with residential, office, and retail space. It'll be steps away from the Austin Resource Center for the Homeless, or ARCH, which has some people worried. The National Episcopal Church bought the property with plans to build a National Archives facility. The Reverend for the church says Mayor Steve Adler has come up with a good plan to address homelessness. If approved, construction could begin by 2018. And take a look at this. The pilot of a small plane was killed yesterday when the plane crashed into a pond behind a home in Huntsville. This was yesterday, about an hour north of Houston. The Cessna crashed shortly after the pilot reported oil problems and a possible engine fire. That's according to the FAA. The plane was discovered, as you see it there, upside down, small flames there coming from the underside of the plane. Pieces of debris also around the pond.
Nurses interested in going back to school for their bachelor's degree may soon be able to do so at Austin Community College. SB 2118 is on its way to the full Senate for a vote later this week, and if passed, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board will allow certain public junior colleges to offer 4-year degree programs. ACC says it will benefit some 7,500 working nurses in our area who want to go back to school.
Again, that's one of the things that we've looked at is the increasing cost of higher education, and how do we control that? How do we continue to make education affordable for a lot of folks in our region? And this is one way to do that.
The program would cost about $10,000. If the bill is passed, ACC says it'll take several years to get the program up and running.
Big news from the sports world. NASCAR star driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. says he's going to retire at the end of this season. He won his first race 17 years ago at Texas Motor Speedway here in Texas. The 42-year-old held a press conference yesterday saying he wanted to go out on his own terms. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been in more than 600 NASCAR races. His last race here in Texas will be Sunday, November the 4th.
Well, would you spend the night in a haunted house? Well, now you can live in one. Oh, no, that's not my thing. Just one night only. Well, a home in Mineral Wells, west of Fort Worth, is up for sale. Locals say it's famous for being haunted. It's known as the Haunted Hill House. It has its own website, which claims it has 9 ghosts, some of which apparently died on the property. Right now, it's used as a tourist attraction in which people pay $200 to spend the night. Some even say they've been bitten or scratched during the night. Ooh, the house is listed at $125,000. I don't know about that. I just want like Casper's. I want all friendly ghosts.
Yeah, friendly ghosts are better.
Yeah, don't be biting and scratching.
Scratching, yeah, we don't need all that stuff. Not at the haunted house.
Yeah, to live in it, that wouldn't be fun. Maybe you can buy it and still rent it out nightly.
Yeah, or even just a tour, right? Well, you would do a tour, right?
I've done a ghost tour. I like those things.
Yeah,
then
peace out. You're out there.
Not spending the night, though.
All right, weather forecast is quite busy this morning. We are tracking a cold front north of us. Expect today to be windy all day long and also pretty hot. This afternoon, daytime highs will be still well above average, even though a cold front is pushing through us. So it's a weak front. All this front is really going to do is push out the humidity. It's sticky this morning, this afternoon. That's not going to be the case. I think our best chance of storms will be this weekend. Looks like the sun is beginning to come up slowly but surely. Live look outside. Skycam is shaky. That's because of the strong winds we're seeing. As of now, 7 miles an hour, but that's not including our gusts. Gusts have been close to 30 miles an hour. It's warm outside also. Mid-70s, the majority of us, upper 60s across the hill country as the cold front is slowly entering into their viewing area, but some pretty strong winds, especially in the hill country. Again, gusts have been up to 30 miles an hour this morning. Here's a look at where the front is right now. Notice, just to the north of us, this is where all the rain is going to be, and also some severe storms. Severe thunderstorm warning now just to the northeast of Dallas. They had a good cell pass through them earlier this morning, and then a lot sparking up along the frontal boundary with severe thunderstorm watches in place all morning long. For us, we'll remain dry compared to our friends up north, but we will have some spotty showers this morning. 10% chance. Not much in form of any storms will be expected in our region. Take a look at this afternoon, though, with this cold front as it slides to the east. Our folks just to the east of us, they are under a moderate risk for some severe weather. I think it's going to be very busy in terms of large hail, tornadoes, east of us in Louisiana and Arkansas. Here's what we're going to track in our viewing area. High humidity this morning, 95% for Austin. Once this cold front passes this morning, the second half of our day completely different in terms of how muggy it's going to be. Dew points will be in the teens and also some 20s this afternoon. That's why we have some fire danger threats. Right now, red flag warnings in place for Gillespie County. Wouldn't be surprised if some of those are extended into our viewing area a little bit more this afternoon. 94 degrees is what we're forecasting your high to be. Keep in mind it's going to be windy all day long. Our allergy forecast is keeping mold in the medium category, grass and pecan in the low category. Check out your latest count every single day in the Statesman. So the good news is we have plenty of sunshine. Cloudy today. Clouds will decrease. Partly cloudy for Friday. This weekend, Saturday is going to be our stormiest day. Saturday afternoon, another system, a better chance of rain, possibly some strong storms. And if you're keeping an eye on the roads this morning, how are they looking?
A little bit busier now that we've reached the 7 o'clock hour. This is a live look. You can see that there are some trouble spots. Let's go ahead and zoom in near the airport area. Elroy Road is partially blocked due to an accident near Moore's Crossing. So if you're trying to get on 130 towards the city, this might affect your commute this morning. Now, if you're traveling on 183, there's still a stalled vehicle here. It's definitely causing some backups. So you might want to check that out as you head out the door. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. 3 Austin schools have gotten, hold on. There we go. They've gotten approval to become early college high schools starting next year. The Texas Education Agency approved Crockett, Eastside Memorial, and Lanier for the program, and it allows students to earn up to 60 hours of college credit by the time they graduate high school. AISD now has 6 early college high schools.
The Supreme Court is holding General Motors accountable for faulty ignition switches. Yesterday, they denied an appeal from General Motors that asked to block dozens of lawsuits, saying the automaker's 2009 bankruptcy did not shield it from liability in the cases. Last year, a federal appeals court ruled that GM is responsible because they knew about the problem for more than a decade, but kept it a secret from the bankruptcy court and from car owners.
Well, 6:51 is your time, and some huge job cuts at Coca-Cola. One of the world's biggest beverage makers says it will snip 1,200 jobs starting later this year. The company said the cuts would help it find another $800 million in annualized savings, in addition to the $3 billion the company previously said it is trimming.
Police in Fort Worth have a new tool to help them catch the bad guys, no matter where they strike. Using dirt bikes. Until recently, police were having to patrol nearly 82 miles of trails and public parks on foot, horseback, or on bicycle. But with these dirt bikes, they can respond faster to areas that are harder to reach.
I think it's a really good thing. Like I said, I don't really feel unsafe, but I'm sure there are dangers out there.
Now, Fort Worth has 8 of these dirt bikes currently on patrol. They're one of the first departments in the country to use them.
If you need some inspiration to get going this morning, well, this is it. Take a look. This woman is still running at 101 years old. She won the 100-meter dash in her age class at the World Masters Games in New Zealand. Well, of course she did. She was the only competitor in the 100 and up category. But you know what? Kudos to her because she's still running. She's doing a great job.
Did you say how old?
101.
Doing the 100 at 100.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you imagine?
I know.
What a great story.
Well, here's a live look outside this Wednesday morning from one of our tower cameras. You can see the Capitol here. Erica Lopez is going to join us next with a look at our forecast. Are you going to want to take that jog, that run outside? We'll see.
And at the Capitol, lawmakers are set to make some huge debates today for one of the most controversial bills all session long. We'll have an update on Senate Bill 4, the so-called Sanctuary Cities bill.
Welcome back today. Members of the Texas House of Representatives in for a lengthy and heated debate.
They're taking up Senate Bill 4, a ban on so-called sanctuary cities. We go live now to Corey Coffin at the Capitol. Good morning.
Very good morning to both of you. Set to be a long day here at the Capitol. Senate Bill 4 will require all law enforcement honor ICE detainers, which are voluntary requests to hold someone while their immigration status is being investigated. Now, under the House version of this bill, only people who are arrested can be asked about their status. Supporters say the bill is about enforcing the rule of law and ensuring that all jails have the same rules across the state, but others believe that it will cause police and the immigrant community to have further distrust and for the immigrant community to further retreat into sort of the shadows, if you will. Many believe this could lead to a decrease in reports of violent crime and even a drop in economic activity. Now, insiders today say House Democrats have more than 100 amendments they plan on filing during this debate. It all begins right here at 9 a.m. and we'll have updates throughout the day. Guys, back to you. All right, we're going to have a last look at your roads. Let's go ahead and talk drive times. If you're traveling on I-35 northbound Buda to downtown, just close to an hour, 43 minutes to get to your commute. I-35 southbound Round Rock to downtown, close to half an hour, 29 minutes. Erica? How's it looking out there?
A cold front's pushing through early this morning. Keep in mind a spotty shower is possible for your morning commute. It's going to be a warm and windy afternoon, dry in terms of humidity, but temperatures are still going to be in the 90s.
Yeah, it seems a little steamy out there, but look at that beautiful view of our city. We live in a gorgeous
Where's
town.
everybody? Where's the joggers?
Yeah.